Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Illumination. Today's Tuesday, February the 12th, and as promised, today we're going to be covering a little bit about how to purchase a camera. Okay, what should you be looking out for, what you shouldn't be looking out for. Now, if you missed the last video, I posted that yesterday. That's right here. Okay, and that's just a little vlog. I will still pose the question, what would you like me to talk about for the Friday video? Okay, I still haven't got anything planned out, so I got a couple more days to work on that, and let's get started. First and foremost, as any sane buyer or any sane shopper would do, there are two ways to figure out what camera you should be buying. Now, you should be working on either looking for a certain feature, or you're looking at a certain budget. Now, that's just smart shopping 101, okay? If you're looking for a certain feature, it doesn't matter what price tag is going to come along with that camera, so long as you get the necessary feature, because there are some things that only certain cameras can do, in fact. Now, if you are working on a budget, the best bet is to find the best camera that gives you the most number of features for that specific budget. I know there, someone mentioned that I should make recommendations for specific prosumer bodies, and I will post that, just my opinion, depending on what uses that we will have. Now, that's also the third thing you should be looking out for: what situation or what use you're gonna have for that specific camera. You wouldn't buy a scooter to race in a motocross race, right? So specific cameras have specific uses, and to specific people specifically. Okay. First and foremost, you should be checking out the features. You should be ticking off the features of the camera you'd like. Now, a lot of people get bamboozled by high megapixel counts. Now, do not get fooled buying public. A higher megapixel count does not automatically equate to better quality. Okay. More often than not, in fact, a higher megapixel count means a worse image quality. Okay, for point and shoots, your tiny little digicam things, you should be looking at something between 12 to 18 megapixels. Okay, if you find a camera that's really cheap and has a really high megapixel count, ask yourself, why is it coming with such a high megapixel count? More often than not, the megapixel count is being used to hide the fact that it's not a very good camera. For those super point and shoots, things like the Canon SX20, SX100 series, anything between 16 to 20 megapixels is pretty normal for those kinds of cameras. For your low-end DSLRs, most things come 16 megapixels and above. Good thing about DSLRs though is that the camera companies have decided, or have finally realized, professional photographers are not easily tricked by using the megapixel trick. They instead go for other features which we'll cover later on. So yeah, anything above 16 megapixels is usually pretty decent size. Next up, we have the ISO. Now, ISO, again, if you didn't catch my first video, which is right here, okay, explaining what ISO is, you should go check that out. But ISO definitely is an important factor in your camera. Now, most point and shoots don't have a very good high ISO, and manufacturers will actually use this as a marketing point. They will say that the camera has a great high ISO, and usually that's true. To verify this though, always do your research before buying the camera. Go online, go on Google, search the specific camera that you want, okay, and then add the word high ISO. Okay, that will give you an idea of what capabilities that camera has for the specific ISO range. Now, there are other features that only certain cameras can have though, and that is, waterproofing, shockproofing, environmental proofing, dust proofing. You have cameras that have Wi-Fi built-in, touchscreens, and if those things are what you are looking for in your cameras, definitely invest in a camera that does that very well. Now, obviously, all these features come on a very huge sticker on the top of your box, and what I recommend is that you look up all the features that are important to you, and see if it works well on that specific camera that you're looking at. Okay, cameras are, one of those things that you should never impulse buy, because you will almost always end up regretting your purchase. Google is your friend. If you go to my Facebook, ask me recommendations about specific cameras, I will do that for you as well. Just Google and search online, seek out the opinions of others. Now, there's also another thing, a really important thing, in fact. You have to make sure that your ergonomics, or the camera, it feels good in your hand. Because if it's not going to feel good in your hand, you're not going to want to take pictures with it, and that's important. The other important thing to note is that you should have a budget, okay? And oftentimes people, working on a budget will really help you out, not overpay for things. So here's what you should really do if you really are on a budget, like on a really tight budget. Go through buy and sell forums and look up people selling their camera equipment secondhand, because more often than not it comes really cheap, and because they are looking to upgrade or change their camera gear for other things. Okay, so look up your local buy and sell forums, whether that's Craigslist or local here in Cebu, that's Historia, or eBay, anything like that, any kind of online reselling place. You check it out, you probably will have a very good deal for new cameras, or for almost new cameras. And again, it's really not something you should impulse buy. In fact, it's one of those things that you ought to research, kind of like a car. It's an investment, and it's really important also that you get to be able to hold the camera in your hand before you buy it, because if it feels good in your hand, you're gonna want to take more pictures with it. Okay, and that's really the most important part. So I guess that's it for today's video. Sorry for posting Saturday's video really late. There were some technical difficulties and I couldn't get that up anytime sooner. So definitely please do click like down here, click subscribe up here, go to my Facebook page. I'm going to also be providing links down below for review sites and buy and sell forums that will really help you out in deciding which camera to buy. If you have any more specific questions, ask me on Facebook or in the comments box below. I will give you my opinion on that. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned a thing or two and you've just been illuminated. I'll see you guys on Friday.